In this next solution problem, we want to determine the molality of a nitric acid solution given that it's 14% by mass. Okay, so the way that we can interpret the 14% by mass is there's 14 grams of nitric acid per 100 grams of nitric acid solution. And what we're asked to calculate is the molality, which would be moles of nitric acid over the kilograms of water. If we know we have 14 grams of nitric acid and 100 grams of solution, if we subtract the two, we'll get the amount of solvent. So that will be 86 grams of water in our solution. We can convert those grams to kilograms by dividing by 1,000 grams. And that ends up being 0.086 kilograms. So now we have our denominator. What we need to calculate is the moles of nitric acid. So we have 14 grams of nitric acid and we're going to divide by the molar mass. So that ends up being 0.222 moles. So I have my moles over my kilograms. I have 0.222 moles of nitric acid, and I'm going to divide by 0.86 grams. 0.086 kilograms. So that ends up being 2.6 molal as the solution concentration. In the next problem, I have a concentrated solution of sulfuric acid that is 18 molar. We want to go from molarity to molality of this sulfuric acid solution given the density of the solution. So I want to determine the moles of sulfuric acid over the kilograms of water to get the molality. Given that I have 18 moles of sulfuric acid over 1 liter of sulfuric acid solution. Okay, so I have my moles that can be directly transferred into the equation for molarity. I have my volume of solution. If I convert that to milliliters, I can get the grams of solution. And if I get the grams of sulfuric acid from the molar mass, I could subtract the two to obtain the amount of water. So let's go ahead and convert the liters of solution to grams using the density. I'm going to end up multiplying by the density. So this ends up being an 1830 gram of sulfuric acid solution. Now if I convert the moles of H2SO4 to grams. I'm going to multiply it by the molar mass. So that ends up being 1765.44 grams of H2SO4. So if I want to determine the amount of water, I'm going to take 1830 grams of sulfuric acid solution minus 1765 grams of my solute. This ends up giving me 64.56 grams of water. Now I need to convert that to kilograms. By dividing by 1,000. So this ends up being 0.06456 kilograms. So the molality would be 18 moles over 0.06456 kilograms. And the answer is 279 molal. In our last problem for this problem set, we want to determine the molality of a hydrogen peroxide solution. The molality of this hydrogen peroxide solution would be moles of hydrogen peroxide over kilograms of water. Given that I have a 3% by mass hydrogen peroxide solution, so that would be 3.0 grams of hydrogen peroxide per 100 grams of hydrogen peroxide solution. We can convert the 3.0 grams of hydrogen peroxide to moles using the molar mass. So that would be 0.0882 moles of hydrogen peroxide. Now what we need to do is get the amount of solvent water. We have 100 grams of hydrogen peroxide solution. If we subtract the grams of hydrogen peroxide, which is 3, and give it in the problem, we'll end up with the amount of water, which ends up being 97. And if we convert that to kilograms, that ends up being 0.097 kilograms of water. So I have my moles, which is 0.0882 moles over 0.097 kilograms of water, and that will give me the molality of hydrogen peroxide solution is 0.91 molal.